Alrighty, we're back after that very, very quick break. I hope you all had a chance to get a drink or something at least. I would like to now start, welcome our next presenter. We are very thankful to Third Iron for being a sponsor again this year. And today we're going to hear from Kendall Barch, who is the CEO and co-founder of Third Iron. So Kendall will be sharing the latest developments with LibKey. Um, and yeah, take it away, Kendall.
Great, perfect. Well, I will share my screen here. See if I can do this. Okay, just double checking. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, great. Fantastic. Well, it's a great pleasure to be a sponsor again this year of ANZREG. Some of you actually my face might be familiar. I've had the great opportunity to work with lots of libraries across the Australia, New Zealand area for over 10 years now. So this is always just a great conference and very happy to be a sponsor here this year and to have the opportunity to just share some updates about things that we're working on here at Third Iron. So this is going to be kind of a very quick gloss on some of those things. I have about 15 minutes here to cover some of these, but really just wanted to pick some items that I thought might be of interest. If you're not one of the libraries that we work with, just note that we are working now with over 2,000 libraries across 35 different countries. In Australia, 31 of the 39 call libraries, I'm very happy to say, are customers of ours. And we support lots of other libraries across Australia and New Zealand as well, including health libraries and government libraries and things like that. So just lots of experience with working with libraries in Australia. Some of the very first customers actually that we had as a company were from Australia. So again, just very happy to support the conference here and to be able to spend some time with all of our customers talking about some of the great things that we as a company here are working on. And then really just, kind of our mission as a company has really been unchanged for the last number of years. And that is being able to develop technology that provides fast, reliable, and trusted access to full text content regardless of where that researcher might be starting their point of discovery. So whether they're looking in a discovery platform or in a database or out there on the open web, we're really looking to make LibKey the technology that is ubiquitous and can be relied upon, again, to provide that researcher the best access to the best version and a version of an article that they can trust. Really kind of advancing that mission for us is been working on here the last year or so, and some things that have already come to fruition here shortly. So the first update that I want to share just has to do with the work that we're doing in scholarly integrity. As you might be familiar today, LibKey is a technology that will indicate to end users if they come across an article that has been retracted or if it has been labeled with an expression of concern. Coming in literally the next few weeks here, we'll be adding a data element to the LibKey algorithm that will also indicate to end users when they come across an article that has cited retracted articles. So this is sort of what we call second order retraction. It's great that we're being able to consistently and comprehensively indicate articles as being retracted, but we can now also indicate articles that cite one or more retracted articles. And we're paying attention to this topic of scholarly integrity just because it's receiving a lot of attention, as I'm sure folks in the conference, can relate to across literature today. And this really just has to do with just how quickly retractions are growing. There's been a record number of retractions, and there's a lot of reasons, of course, for that. It has to do with how content is being produced by paper mills, just kind of better screening that publishers have. And going back through literature, there's kind of more intrepid people that are looking at published material, finding suspect literature, and that all being retracted. So we know that there's just a bunch of retracted material out there today. We think that that's going to continue to grow, but we're also aware of the fact that that material has been retracted, I'm sorry, has been cited in other papers as well. And we know that user awareness of that material oftentimes is very opaque, and that has to do with just how inconsistent, kind of different problematic material is being indicated either in databases or even by the publisher itself. And that leads to really kind of significant downstream problems, kind of that feed of clay scholarship issue, where really the findings of a given paper might be undermined just because of the fact that a researcher is relying upon previous research that has been problematic in some way, but that researchers themselves just might be completely unaware of that problematic status. So again, we know that there's a lot of attention being paid to this issue today for good reason, and we think that there's a lot of things that we do with the way that we're tracking article status that we can help improve the downstream researcher output by being able to more consistently indicate problematic articles at different points of discovery. So again, as you might be familiar today, we alert end users or signpost or indicate when they come across a retracted material. We create a speed bump, so to speak, where we provide an interstitial screen that provides more information, contextual information on why a given article has been retracted. And this is something that end users see if they're in their discovery system or they're using our LibKey Nomad browser extension. That's what we're doing today. As well as articles that, so here we are with our browser extension with LibKey Nomad indicating retracted status there. And we're doing this with expression of concern as well, where again, independent of whether or not that article has been indicated in a point of discovery is being problematic in some way, LibKey will always clearly and consistently indicate that for the end user and provide additional contextual information in that speed bump interstitial screen. And we know that this is actually not an uncommon occurrence. Again, if you're a LibKey customer today, you might notice that in the usage reports that we're providing, that we're indicating how many retracted impressions that we're displaying for end users. And this is just sort of a collection of different large universities. And we just wanted to understand just, how many times people are kind of coming across that retracted material. And we looked at February, we looked at the year to date for February 2025, and in most cases, it's thousands of times, which is really interesting, just given the minority of research out there that has been retracted relative to the complete research output of articles in a given year and so forth. But we see that, in any given month, there's more than 1,000 times that the research community at a given institution has come across one or more retracted articles just in the course of doing their research. Again, whether that means that they're searching a discovery system or in a database or using the LibKey Nomad browser extension in order to look out on the open web at different sites like Google or ResearchGate or whatever it might be. So we know that, again, this material is out there and that LibKey can do a very good job of indicating that for end users, really regardless of where they're searching for that information. But moving forward, again, as I noted, we'll be adding what we call that second order retraction, where we will indicate for end users if the article that they're looking at has cited one or more retracted articles. So the experience for the end user there is that they're going to be, in whatever point of discovery that they're using. And when they click on that download LibKey button, we're going to create an interstitial screen for them, which will indicate to them not only that the paper that they are looking at has cited a retracted article, but it will actually list those articles that have been cited that are retracted, which will then link out to more contextual information if that researcher is interested to know why that paper that was cited was retracted, as well as being able to allow that end user to advance on to download the PDF of the original article that they were looking for. So again, what we're trying to do here is just provide that awareness for researchers, independent of whatever site that they might be looking at, whether or not that site has indicated that article is being problematic or retracted. So that's really kind of been a big focus for us, and again, we're just really kind of weeks away from releasing that second order retraction. The second update that I want to provide is just on our kind of enhanced version of LibKey Nomad, the browser extension that we call Plus Plus. Just note that we continue to do a lot of work on this, which is responsive to end user feedback. So there's just a couple of bullet points or a few bullet points that we list here. With LibKey Nomad Plus Plus, we've added what we call a SAML authentication loop, which provides better management of SAML authentication across different resources. We're able to allow libraries to parse out subdomains. So if you want to add messaging to google.com, but you want to make sure that that message doesn't appear at google.mail.com, you can do that. We have a search redirect feature. There's just a bunch of work that we continue to do to expand out the functionality of LibKey Nomad Plus Plus, which is great because as we indicate, we now know that LibKey Nomad has been installed in over 2.5 million browsers. So it continues to be a very popular tool for researchers and really makes a lot of sense for us to continue to invest in that by, again, being responsive to our customer feedback by building out the functionality on that. The third thing that I want to mention is that we are now on the cusp of releasing a integration with Article Galaxy Scholar from Research Solutions. If you're familiar with that product and that platform, it is a document delivery fulfillment platform that we see more and more libraries being interested in as they're looking for different ways to manage collections. Maybe not necessarily subscribing to big package deals anymore, but more selectively providing on-demand article delivery. So currently today, the illustration that we see on the screen is what we call kind of our waterfall, or how we select articles that we intend to link to with LibKey. With the Article Galaxy Scholar integration, we're going to be adding that into our linking waterfall to where we can be able to understand which articles or publishers or journals, libraries are making available to their patrons through Article Galaxy Scholar, and use that intelligence in order to link out to that content as it's available to their patrons from their library. So what does this look like in the wild? It's going to look something like this. And we are right now in the test phase. There are a couple libraries that are live here that are working with the integration, just making sure that everything works as planned. But we expect to make a formal announcement about this integration here in just a couple of weeks. So what this looks like today, if you have Article Galaxy Scholar set up at your library and you have added journals or articles or publishers to your AGS profile, the request PDF button is going to appear via LibKey in the environment that the end user is looking at. That is going to bring them directly into the Article Galaxy environment, where they will see a button there that will say request PDF. And again, if you're familiar with how Article Galaxy Scholar works, after you click on that request PDF, it is generally rendered for the end user within seconds. And the end user then also receives a link via email where they also have the ability to download that PDF later as well. So really what this really provides for libraries is just a very consistent way for end users to get PDF content that's made available to them, irrespective of what that source is. And instead of Article Galaxy Scholar kind of being buried in the link resolver as it currently is today, it provides a much more direct, seamless, and again, consistent experience for the end user. So if they're in your Primo interface, as we're seeing in this display here today, LibKey will display a link that will say request PDF. Again, that goes directly deeply into the AGS system, where the end user sees the button that says request PDF. They click on that, and then Article Galaxy Scholar will typically, within seconds, be able to provide the PDF for the end user there. So just again, a very nice addition for our linking waterfall, in order, again, for libraries to have a very consistent way of providing access to full text content, irrespective of what source that is. And this will be true as well in other environments. So if somebody's using the LibKey Nomad browser extension, LibKey Nomad will display a button. In this case, we're looking at the PubMed platform, of course. It will say request PDF. That brings us into AGS. They can click on the request PDF button and get direct access to the PDF. And also true for third-party platforms. There are a growing number of platforms out there. Cite is one of them, as we see in this example, which has integrated LibKey to provide the full-text linking mechanism, and that will also allow end users to request PDFs via the AGS profile that a library has set up in order to get that seamless access to PDF content. Those are the main things that I wanted to run through very quickly here today. The last thing I want to say is just kind of a bonus update, which is I just wanted to let everybody know that we are working very closely today with Ex Libris on some integrations of LibKey in the Next Discovery Experience platform. So really just a great working relationship with Ex Libris as we're kind of modeling out some different ways that we can integrate LibKey as they continue to develop and finalize kind of the UX of that platform. So just want to let everybody know that if there's kind of thoughts about moving to NDA later this year or sometime in the future, just know that Ex Libris is very keen on having LibKey be available as one of the earliest kind of integrations that's available in NDE, and we are working closely with them to make sure that that happens. So thanks for letting me kind of rush through all of this. I think there was a couple of comments there in the chat, just to make sure that those weren't directed to me. I think that they were. Okay, so okay, great. But Great to hear that about Bond. We're working right now with the University of Toronto and also University of Southern California. If there's interest in testing or integrating this, I encourage you to talk to Ex about this. They're the ones who are kind of herding the cats on this and kind of bringing people in to kind of be set up as beta testers on that. Patricia, you said, do you have any measures in place for identifying articles that are retracted for political reasons? No, the contextual information that we're getting for retraction is coming from Retraction Watch, and they have kind of basically a controlled vocabulary that they're using in order to identify articles or the reasons why they're retracted. So things like falsification of data or plagiarism, things like that. I don't think that they're identifying retraction for political reasons at this point. Great questions, though. But if anything here that I sounded interested or interesting and you want more information about it, don't hesitate to reach out to me directly, including if you're interested in being kind of a beta tester of the LibKey integration. Or like I said, I'm more than happy to work with Ex Libris on that. You have my email address here. Again, feel free to reach out directly. But otherwise, thanks very much. I really appreciate the opportunity to share this quick update and very proud to be a sponsor here of the ANZREG conference. Thanks very much.
Thank you very much, Kendall. So we've got 2 more minutes in case any other questions come in at the last minute. But thank you very much for your presentation. Thank you very much, LibKey, for being a sponsor. Third Iron for being a sponsor of the ANZREG conference.
Our pleasure. Thanks very much again.